Okay, so 2 seconds ago, I didn't have enough energy to film a video, but then I ate an entire pack of sour cherry blasters. But wait, I also may have dabbled a little bit into these bean things, and they're pretty good, won't lie. And now I have lots and lots of energy to film a video, so you are welcome, friends. Okay, restart. Hello, friends. Guess what today's video is gonna be about? I don't know why I asked you to guess. There's no way you'd be able to guess, but it is about jealousy. Yay, what a fun topic. Let me set you guys down. I'm really just all over the place right now. Okay, so today's video is going to be all about jealousy. I got a request by somebody who answered one of my question things on Instagram to do a little video about how to deal with jealousy. They were talking about in a relationship, but I think I'm just going to talk about the entire feeling in general because I think it's applicable to anything, whether it be friendships or relationships or to that random celebrity you saw on Instagram that makes you feel really icky inside. I basically want to talk about it because I think everyone experiences it at some point in their life, if not at many, and it really is such an ugly feeling. There's a quote out there that says that jealousy works in the opposite way that you want it to, and it really does. It really reflects poorly on yourself while shining a brighter light on the person who you're feeling icky towards in the first place. So it is a really good practice to just kind of eliminate as much jealousy as possible, because ultimately it's just you that's hurting yourself more and the other person is just going about their day feeling fine about their life. It's also really important to talk about because it is one of those feelings that is very much so in our control to some extent. We have so much power to change that feeling and change that mindset and no longer feel that gross feeling and that kind of negative energy that we're throwing towards somebody else, because it really does stem with ourselves. So this whole video is going to be about where the root problem is coming from, how you can kind of change your perspectives, and the different types of jealousy that you might experience. So obviously the root problem is yourself. The way jealousy works is you feel that way towards somebody else because you are feeling down about yourself. It really reflects the way that you value yourself and how you think about yourself. And even though it feels like such an external feeling because you're directing it towards someone else who has something that you don't have, you're actually telling the world all the things that you think you don't have, or that you think that you're lacking, or you think that you're bad at, or you think that you can never live up to. And it kind of works in a way where you highlight the things that you think you don't have and the things that you think you're bad at when nobody was even drawing attention to that in the first place. There are so many things to be good at, so many things to excel in, and so many things that people just aren't good at. And if you constantly are bringing attention towards the things that you're not good at, that's all people are ever going to see instead of seeing the things that you are good at. Let's just be clear now, it is never going to be the case that you are 100% perfect in every single regard. You're perfect in your own way, but that does not mean that you're good at everything. It doesn't mean you're going to be the most beautiful person, the smartest person, the funniest person. You're just your own person, and you have a select bucket of things that you're going to be brilliant at. But you're going to have a lot of things that you either don't care to be good at, or things that you frankly aren't good at. So as soon as you remember that, you can start focusing on the things that you are good at and stop hating other people for being good at the things that you aren't good at. So let's say you start feeling that icky, I hate you kind of feeling towards somebody else. I want you to consider whether or not it's actually coming from something you hate about yourself, or if it's truly coming from somebody else. Now, what I mean by somebody else is there are going to be some times where you feel a jealousy towards someone, but it's not necessarily because you're insecure about yourself. Sometimes it stems from the fact that another person is treating you in a specific way that makes you feel that somebody else is more worthy. Let's say, for example, you're in a relationship and you're somebody's significant other, and to them, they are the most important person in your life right now. You give them all your attention, all your love, but for them, they just kind of brush you aside and treat somebody else a lot better than they treat you. And to you, that reflects a jealous feeling on that other person, because it's like, hey, I'm supposed to be your significant other. Why are you treating them with so much more love and affection than you're treating me? Now, that's a completely fair feeling, and that doesn't always mean that you have to be insecure about yourself. It could be something that you note as an outsider, that you're not being treated in the same respect or regard as you would expect to be treated. I do want to make a note here that yes, there are times where you think that you're being treated poorly because they're not treating you how you're treating them, but you have to also consider how they treat everybody else. Is this just their way of showing love to everybody, or are they actually singling you out to be lesser than other people? Okay, back to the other point. If you do find that they are doing this and it is a valid feeling to have, that's when you have to bring this person in and be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Please refer to my how to deal with conflict in relationships video. And that's when you have that conversation and express the way you were feeling, to either open up a conversation about the topic or to have them help you understand why there is a difference there, or if there even is a difference at all. I'm not saying that they're gonna prove you wrong. I'm just saying it's so much easier to assume these things from the outside than it is after you've had a conversation about it in the first place. Now, feelings and relationships aside, if you find that that's not the case, you're just jealous of a person because they have something that you lack, or you scrolled on your Instagram and you see somebody with a rockin' hot body and you're like, fuck her, then that is a stemming from you problem. It's a feeling that you get because you're putting yourself below that other person. It's not because somebody else is putting you below them. So if that's the case and you fall under that category, there's two things I want you to think about. A, what specific trait are you lacking, or are you actually angry about that that person possesses that you perceive that you don't have? So for example, do you think they're better looking than you? Do you think they're smarter than you, funnier than you, more charismatic, more popular? Once you hone in on that trait or those traits, you can start diving in to reflect on yourself as to whether or not you actually lack those traits, or if you're just being hard on yourself. Which leads me to number two, which is how are you going to deal with not having those traits? And the reason I use quotation marks is because sometimes it really is your mindset. It's not really the actual fact that you don't have those traits. If that makes sense. I'll explain it later. Okay, so there's two options for this kind of second part here. Let's say you think that this person has a certain amount of skills that you don't have. Maybe they're a better photographer, or they're better at this or better than that, and you figure that it's actually something you want to get better at. Then that's a perfect opportunity to let that person inspire you and motivate you to learn those set of skills. So go out, start taking more photos, start doing things that will make you better at this thing, so that you no longer have to feel a jealousy towards them, but rather an inspiration and motivation from them. They become your role model, they become someone you look up to, they become someone you learned from, and you start turning this really ugly emotion into something that is beautiful and inspiring and challenging. That same thing goes for fitness motivation. You see someone with an 8-pack and you got a 1-pack, because girl, you know I got a 1-pack. So you start going to the gym more, you start feeling stronger and motivating yourself to be more healthy and active. These are all ways to turn jealousy from one thing into another thing that just makes you a better human. Now, if you're jealous of someone because it's something that you think that they have that you lack, and it's not a skill that you can get, for example, physical appearances, sometimes what you need to do is change your mindset. And I know it is such like an ooey gooey thing, and everyone's like, yeah, I'll change my mindset and just look myself in the mirror and be like, damn, you fine. But sometimes it doesn't work, but it is a really important thing to note, and something that you should be working on at all points of your life, because you'll never get to a point where you're perfect in your mindset. So let's say that you think that somebody is better looking than you. That is all subjective. It is all something that you feed yourself in your mind. Start appreciating the little things, start appreciating your beauty that you have, start appreciating the features that you love about yourself, and stop focusing so much on what other people look like, because goddamn, everybody looks different, you know? Also, shameless plug to my other video about feeling confident about yourself. Right here. Like I said before, how you feel about somebody else and the jealousy that you feel towards them really does reflect on how you treat yourself and how you value yourself. So if you can take the time to work on appreciating yourself and loving yourself, you'll start to see that the jealousy just naturally fades away, because you're no longer focusing on other people's strengths, you're focusing on your own. Same thing goes for that whole fitness thing that I mentioned before. Yes, you should be motivated by other people's fitness journeys, but you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people. Like if that person has an 8-pack and you don't. I mean, everyone's bodies are different. Everybody can push themselves to a certain extent. People have different numbers of abs. And if you change your mindset to not think poorly of your body, but to inspire you to be stronger, to be healthier, then you're changing your mindset to, again, start loving yourself, even if it means that you're pushing yourself to work to something that you currently are not. I really hope this video helps you guys think differently about jealousy, and at least calm your mind a little bit when it comes to those really fiery and angry and aggressive thoughts towards other people sometimes. Hopefully it does help regardless of the situation, whether it be a random person, your friend, your relationship, your freaking sibling, who knows. But anyways, like this video if you want, go ahead and leave me a comment and we can chat more down below if you want, and subscribe if you want, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Bye!